phones down. I'll call noise monitor.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to the Meat and Potato Show. I am your host, Christopher Mader. My guest today is Dan Debrule. He's running for the 2nd District in Massachusetts against McGovern. And Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a great honor.
So, what's the story? What got you started in wanting to basically run up against McGovern?
Well, that's a great question. It didn't happen overnight. It was a progression over a long lifetime of political activism. And what I've seen from past runs, I ran for state senate in 2010. There was a lot of the local issues in Central Mass, and that propelled me to find more issues and more issues. And what ended up happening is we lost track of where we are as a district. That's, I think, is due in part because the leadership right now in Congress is an all-time low and clocking at 7 to 9%
exactly right
rating. So it's not hard for us to understand where they lost touch with the people.
Now, McGovern, a couple of times he's run unopposed. I remember 2010, I interviewed Patrick Barron. He was running as an independent. What other, are you the only one that so far has, and you filed, right? You've already filed? So are you the only opponent that he has right now?
Yes, well, we filed as early stages of an exploratory committee. Basically, it's a logistical stance of letting people know,
so you are the
letting your base know that you're running and that others would either come and support you.
How's his money look? I mean, do you have any?
Honestly, it's not doing too well.
Really? He hasn't got, I remember in the past he had like a war chest. Like there was one time when I was talking to Pat, he said a couple of times he ran unopposed, and I think he still ended up like getting like $2 or $3 million in his war chest, right, which he didn't need. So
what happens is basically it's a revolving bank sometimes. Sure. when you're an establishment. So.
Right, and what they call there's PACs and there's LPACs, and basically there's basically two different bank accounts. One, it's kind of strange. The way Patrick explained it to me was that there's one bank account that they use to pay for their campaign, and then there's another bank account that they can have that they can borrow from to pay for their campaign. It's a shady system.
It's a shell game. It's a numbers game. And
how do you think you're going to handle that? Because let's say you get elected, because that's a big thing that is a huge problem in Congress. Is the minute you get in there, you're automatically on that treadmill of, I've got to make money, got to make money, got to make money. You spend more time making money than you're actually on the floor legislating.
Yes, I mean, that's a broad definition of politics. It's money maker. You need money. To get anything accomplished, you need some money. The good thing with my campaign is, because it's grassroots, is that a little bit goes a long way. And with the 2nd Congressional District, it's so large that just a little contribution to a candidate like myself will go a long way. So the big money, I don't think will have a factor. He has his system in place, and he has to justify what he does and his votes and where he is. Where I'm coming as a grassroots candidate, it's all about for the people, by the people.
Excellent.
And it's really going to be that simple.
And how is your money situation going? I don't have to get details. It's really none of my business.
Well, it's the campaign plan comes with the budget plan, and I mean, you look at the numbers there. The budget is set for $3 million.
Excellent.
What we're shooting for.
Right. Good.
You'll get national involvement, and it's going to be a lot more. Now, that's not necessarily going to be tied into my campaign, because there's already people like the National Rifle Association or other gun owners groups that they might come in once they see that McGovern has a challenger who has.
Oh, I see where you're going. Right.
They start seeing that he's the 3rd highest liberal.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And I think I see what. Yeah, your point is in the past a lot of the people haven't come out because. He runs unopposed, so you don't have a lot of people coming out to support any other candidate if there isn't anybody there. Has anybody from any type of political action group or lobbying group ever have they approached you at all yet?
Well, yes, I'm not taking this lightly. And first I started with my own self, make sure I was ready for this, and then I went with my family. I'm lucky I was blessed with my lovely wife Jennifer, who supports me 110%. kind of backlog to their friends and family, just a yes, it's just a natural thing.
Really? Excellent.
But the propelling issue that I face all of us as working families constantly propel me forward even more. So it's really just more than a position. It's a whole system coming at him.
Well, let's talk about it.
You know, my background is I come from a large Catholic family. We grew up in a construction/farming family. I mean, so
Hard-working family. That's right.
It's lost in, it seems it's lost in this generation, but it's where I come from. You know, I was blessed with Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, and that propelled me into a lifetime of service.
Certainly.
To the point where I
You were a corrections officer.
Yeah,
That's right.
I did 20 years in the Massachusetts Department of Corrections, and I also joined the military at 16. So I have a lifetime of service.
You joined it at 16. How did you get away with that?
There's,
when was that? It was back in the day when you could lie about your age and get away with it.
Call your recruiters. There are waivers they can get from your family. Basically, it's an early program where you can join.
But you did. You went into basic and.
Yeah, it was a basic training, youngest peacetime at 16 and a half, and that went into a service of 16 years.
And when was this?
This is 1984.
Oh, okay. So it was under Reagan.
Yes, under Reagan.
16 years old.
Yeah, that's a good way to draw.
You weren't scared or anything? You just.
I was scared, but you know, the sense of duty and pride was surpasses any fear.
Excellent. So anyway, you come from a construction family, a corrections officer. Keep going. What else?
Oh yes, basically from Central Mass my whole life. You know, I love this place. It's beautiful. We have everything. The district is incredible. From southern New Hampshire to northern Connecticut, it's just incredible.
The Worcester area is business-wise, Worcester's growing. Worcester does have its fiscal problems like any other city, but there is a vibrancy. It's something that I haven't seen in this city, and I live in this city now. Something I hadn't seen since I was in high school. I remember we used to have the Galleria Mall down here. Of course, that's all gone. Been gone for years. But what they've done with the whole city square down there and the new construction, I mean, now it's biotechnology now, the business has changed, but again, I haven't seen this type of vibrancy since I was a teenager coming to the Galleria. We used to see that type of vibrancy there before. And for a while, even in the 80s when the economy was doing good, I remember Worcester not really, it was, you didn't want to go to Worcester, whereas today there's a lot of businesses, there's a lot of new vibrancy coming in.
Well, Worcester is definitely an anchor for this area. We're the crossroads of New England, if you look at a map, so there's a lot of potential here. You know, we're stifled with overregulation, tax burden beyond belief, which I think we could probably help out bringing some outside help.
And I know we were here at a meeting, and Gaffney, the city councilor, Gaffney, I think his name is, he was talking about the unfunded liabilities that are in Worcester, and they're anywhere between $600 and $700 million. Unfunded liabilities, all the pensions, all the cops, fire people, hospital.
It's well, when it comes to the numbers, you got to understand that they can be stretched and played every which way you cut. Unfunded liabilities with pensions, you know, that was if they had to be paid today. Those are, you know, you do the actuaries; those are spread out.
They are spread out.
You know, so it's
not everybody retires all at once.
That's right, and there's some people that leave service, but you know, it's really a number that's hard to pinpoint. But it's still the threat of unfunded mandates.
Right.
You know, just the loss of revenue is there.
As we move along, I think in the United States it's like 90 trillion, I think, is our unfunded liability. But that's, like you said, that's spread out over, I think, 20 to 30 years time. So, I mean, it's a scary number to think about, but like I said, it's stretched out over time. What I want to talk to you now about, what the heck is going on in our Congress? This whole, I mean, Obamacare is completely out the window. The Senate has gone ahead and pulled that nuclear option where they no longer need a 60 vote, which is just a simple majority. They managed to get away with it. And I want to play a little piece here from Joe Biden. I'm just going to let that play.
And in every other case since I've been here for 32 years, the presiding officer leans down to the parliamentarian and says, "What's the rule, Mr. Parliamentarian?" The parliamentarian turns and tells him, hold your breath, parliamentarian, he's not going to look to you, because he knows what you would say. He would say, this is not parliamentarily appropriate. You cannot change the Senate rules by a pure majority vote.
That was, what, 2005? And they go and turn around and do it? I mean, this is going to come back and bite them, isn't it?
It is. What we're seeing here is a classic example of a career politician spinning, respinning the hash.
And it's, yeah, him and Reed, also. And Reed is, what is it, 30 years or something like he's been in there too?
Career politicians, Mr. McGovern's been in there. I'm not even sure the numbers. I think it's close to 40 years, 30, 40 years. Because he's been there so long, we have to check the records of time.
This is so true. So they've gone and pulled this nuclear option here. What is their game plan behind this? What do you think their game plan is?
Well, I mean, they're going to, unfortunately, they're going to shuffle a whole bunch of federal judges down people's throats. So we're going to be having to deal with that in the future. So that, I think, is another reason we should propel more people that run for office, especially for the Senate, the House of Representatives. You know, we need to contradict what's being forced there right now. I just got a mail blast right now from Washington that Nancy Pelosi is on a major fundraising tour to take over the House of Representatives.
Try to win back the seats and try to win back her seat.
For the last 2 years of the Republican administration.
How do you think, well, let's see, we have the majority, Republicans have the majority now in the House. How do you see the race shaping up for the Republicans in 2014? Do you believe a lot of that rhetoric, a lot of the rhetoric is they're going to, the Republicans are going to get blamed in 2014 for not only the shutdown, but part of the problems with Obamacare, the sequestration. Everyone's talking about how Ted Cruz shot himself in the foot with his filibuster. I completely disagree with that. I thought it was absolutely stunning what he did. The same thing with Rand Paul. I think it was stunning. But how do you feel? What do you hear from other people that you're talking to?
Well, you're going to see a lot of people abandoning the ship. Okay, they know that the people are tired. With a rating of 7.
Abandoning which ship, though?
The political process.
Oh,
on both sides. I mean, everybody has to be held accountable to their votes. It's not going to be a party. It's not going to be a party majority. It's going to be people are going to take a look at who they're voting for this time around, and it's going to matter of what course they take. Now, for what's happening in there, it's political play, posture. They have a game plan for everything.
Right.
It looks like the Republicans will keep the House, you know, but it depends on the fundraising. If people just sit on their hands and don't do anything,
it's true. But
we've got
this problem where if somebody isn't conservative enough, and I'm not sure if it's just exclusive to the Republican Party, that if somebody isn't conservative enough, conservatives sit out, and we end up with a Democratic, whoever, a president, a congressman, a senator, winning the race. I mean, Gomez, I didn't like Gomez. I didn't like, you know, his not-so-conservatism, but I didn't sit out the election. Obviously, I went and I voted for Gomez because I didn't want, who was it, Ed Markey. I didn't want him in there. So.
Well, that's called name recognition and anti-name recognition. You didn't know the other candidate, but you knew who not to vote for.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a problem with politics. Sometimes people don't have the fortunate opportunity to really know what's going on, like yourself or I.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for them to see. That's where it's our job to get out there and bust through as grassroots candidates to let them know there are value, there are some value of looking at alternatives.
And basically knocking a lot of doors. Carol Claros is an excellent example. She had a great grassroots campaign. A lot of people, several times they came to my house knocking on the door. I actually put up my own Carol Claros thing. But what was amazing is when I actually went down the street to go vote, very few people, I was like the only one with a sign there, very few people knew who this person was. They had absolutely no, it's like, who is that? I hadn't heard of her. And then I thought, well, this is going to go well. Like, what's this? So we can talk about grassroots, but it's the name recognition thing. If you're going to do the grassroots thing, how do you plan to break into, like, media, or do you have plans to do into media? I mean, I know this is our first one, and I've talked to you how we're going to do this, and we'll have more interviews in the future, but what are your plans to to go into like mass media, like television, radio.
Well, that's great. I mean, what you're doing, first of all, is to be commended and should be done a lot.
I love doing this.
This is how we get the information out past the mass media, which is, controlled more. For myself, I have a long time advocacy for activism. So I've always been out here. I've been an advocate for 20 years. I've everywhere from PTO, PTA, Lions Club, veterans groups. I was also a union steward for a small union for 18 years.
You're a busy guy.
I've been blessed with the opportunity to do that. We passed legislation at the grassroots level, so we know how to get things done. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that have been put in place to discourage involvement and to discourage basically information sharing. So what you have is a lot of people not knowing what they're getting into, i.e. they're going to come into a race as a grassroots candidate. There's a lot of things that you need to know beforehand. You need to know the lay of the land and the process. And she had a tough race, which was a special election. So it's all out of the calendar loop for everybody. So it was tough for her. Now, for my stance and my campaign is we thrive in anything that's doing that. We can handle it. My campaign team is a national team. The campaign manager and his staff are incredible. They have presidential campaign experience from the New Hampshire primary.
Really?
Yes. And what
Oh,
happens?
you've got some good hitters.
I do. I'm very blessed, and I had the opportunity to work with them in New Hampshire with them on the presidential campaign, and that was part of the process that showed me the potential of how to fix some of these simple problems that face us on a daily basis.
Talk about it.
Well, I mean, first of all, the campaign staff is, like I said, is incredible, top-notch, nationwide. They supported Governor Romer from Louisiana, who was a senator.
Buddy Romer. I know, you're a big Buddy Romer guy.
And
That's when you and I basically first met, and I remember meeting you. I think it was a Tea Party rally, and I remember you were livid. Somebody was doing something. You had a Buddy Romer sign. Somebody was screwing around with it, and you were down a watch. Like, somebody throwing news around dead.
that's right. I believe in what I do, because it's reformist. It's about doing the right thing, and sometimes you have to fight the status. I mean, these people are relentless. They have money, they have hired staff, and sometimes it takes somebody to stand up and be angry, and make them think twice about kicking your sign down.
And I don't blame you. Sometimes I remember watching that scene, and they were pretty aggressive. Who was it though? I just remember you getting upset. Who was it that was messing around with you? You don't have to give names, but who was the candidate? What was the situation?
Basically, it was one of the primary candidates. Was just a bully guy. He was just going around doing it to everybody, and unfortunately, he tried to do it.
Speaking about Tea Party, are you going to hit some of the things later this year?
Absolutely.
I know we'll have another rally probably in April. And you know Ken and John, all the guys from the Worcester Tea Party.
Of course,
There's who's the other one there in the Worcester Seven Hills Tea Party? Chris Pinto. You know Chris Pinto? Yeah. He does his show, his Activate Worcester show on 13 Worcester. So these are people you plan on.
Absolutely. Actually, back in 2009, when I was starting my campaign for state senate and learning the district and the issues, these people you mentioned they were the forefront of the Tea Party.
Mm-hmm.
I was part of that. I supported early Tea Party groups. First it was in Boston, and just spread like wildfire because people needed an outlet, needed a way to tell their side of the story. And the Tea Party was the perfect vehicle for that. It still is, I believe. It's not distorted like it's like the national media would like it to make. Here, it's more of a family-oriented issues. I mean, it's good people.
They are good people. Ken has been wonderful to me. John's been wonderful to me. They've been on my show several times. Bonnie Johnson from Seven Hills and the Republican Town Committee, she's been wonderful, has invited me to many of her events. And you've actually, as you were talking, I'm thinking to myself, you're actually in a unique position because you know a lot of these people already. So it's not like you have to go with hat in hand banging on the door. You could talk to me, you could talk to Ken, Pinto, anybody, and say, hey, I want to, and they'd be stupid to say no to you. They'd be, oh, sure, come on in. I mean, not only does it help your campaign, it helps our organization. I mean, this interview I'm doing here, not only am I trying to help you, you're helping me by being here and doing this. So it's a mutual thing. What's the other thing I wanted to mention? So you're actually in a position where you've got a great campaign team, you've got great managers, a great campaign manager, I'm sorry, and you know a lot of these people. Somebody like McGovern, I know he's got his political action groups and he's got his pets that he can get money from. He doesn't have what you have, the things that I've just described. How do you think that's going to affect the race now?
Well, first of all,
Are you going to capitalize on that?
Congressman McGovern, deserves credit for what he's done and things that he's done. I will not take that away from him. What he does have to do is have to deal with his voting record and where he's been, and what he's been associated with. And what's the flavor like right now is people in Washington are nervous. With 7%, 9% rating, people are jumping ship. I heard, maybe not just his staff, but there's a lot of congressional staff that are looking for new jobs, are moving on. The writing's on the wall. It's time for change. Now, who that might be, well, that's why I'm here. I want to offer.
Yeah, so far there hasn't been a Democratic challenger, has there?
No, the system is set. I mean, we saw that when they redid the district in 2012. They prop and the circumstance, and they dictate who gets to get where. And, unfortunately, the small people lose out on that. People that just can only afford to vote, they're the ones that lose out on that.
What are some of the things you brought here that you wanted to talk, some issues that you wanted to talk?
Well, I just want to let you know where I came from, my background. I'm from here, I'm from the people, so I know the daily struggles. I feel them, we taste them. I'm blessed with a large family, so I know what the working people go through. And I want people to know that I have some substance where my longtime activism has showed me how the system works and what needs to get done.
What is your game plan if you get in? Do you have any plans or?
Yes. My plan is to bring the district with me to Washington, D.C. and let them know what's going on. Basically, it's that simple. The district comprises of almost 700,000 people. So if you imagine the talent pool that we can draw from that and the issues that we can address when we work together on that, that is my plan. Bring Massachusetts, the 2nd District, with me to Washington.
That's excellent. Rather than just go up there and legislate from up there. Bring the people up there. Right. Come back home as often as possible.
We're going to make that trip up the Golden Brick Road like the Wizard of Oz. We're going to pull back that curtain and we're going to set the record straight.
I wish you the best of luck with this. You're going to get my vote, so don't worry about that. And so far there's nobody else even running in the race. I was wondering if Pat Barron would run again, but I think because of the way everything's been redistricted, he's like out of the district or something like that. I'll have to get back to him on that.
Actually, I think you're right. A lot of past candidates were redistricted out. It's pretty amazing how that works out. Well, they messed up when they put my town in.
Because here you are. Well, Dan, great. Where's your next appearance? What's down the road for you?
Tonight we have a private gathering in Leominster, and we're working on a campaign site, a media outlet. We're putting together hopefully a newspaper / letter for the district, ongoing to keep people posted. Excellent. It's just growing, with a national campaign team and Governor Romer coming on board to show his support.
That's excellent.
We're growing exponentially by the moment. People are coming on, signing up with talents that I couldn't even imagine that they're bringing to it. So I'm an openness to people's campaign. So if you have talents, issues, or anything, join us. My website is
please.
It's danforma.com. Very simple. danforma.com.
Excellent.
Very simple.
Dan, thank you so much for
so
coming
much.
on the Meat and Potato Show, sir. Enjoy.
Appreciate
Good luck.
it.
We'll see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Dan Debrule, running for the 2nd District in Massachusetts, and thank you again.
Thank you, sir.